Okay, today we're going to be talking about graphing linear equations. So anytime we're graphing linear equations, remember we have our basic equation for a linear line, which is y is equal to mx plus b. Now, when we actually look at our equations, we're going to have numbers in the place for m and b, but let's talk about what they stand for. So m, when we talk about m, we're talking about the slope of the line. Okay, so slope, and when we talk about slope, we are talking about rise over run. Okay, so basically slopes are always expressed as a fraction, with the top number being what happens when we go up and down, and the bottom number meaning what we do from left to right. Okay, and then the number that's being added or subtracted after the x there is your y-intercept. Okay, so this is the point on your line that it is crossing the y-axis. Y-axis is that line that goes up and down. That's what's happening vertically. So whatever number is right here, that is where it's crossing on the y-axis. Okay, so let's look at number 1 here. So number 1, we have y is equal to negative 2x plus 4. If we come up over here, the number in front of the x is always our slope, right? Rise over run. Now it's a solid number, but remember, if we think of it as a fraction, we can always put any whole number as a fraction. You just put it over 1. So I could think of negative 2 as just negative 2 over 1. Okay, that is my slope. That's what my line is doing as we go to each point on the line. It's going to have a negative 2 over 1. Okay, then the 4 is our y-intercept. Okay, so it's crossing at positive 4. And when I graph, I always start at my y-intercept. That is my bullseye. That's the starting point. So I come up here to 4, and that is going to be the very first point on my line. And then to graph it, I just look at my slope. My slope is negative 2 over 1, which if I'm doing rise over run, that would be going down 2, because negative up and down is down. Okay, so down 2, and then I'd go 1 to the positive, so over 1 to the right. Okay, so rise was negative 2, run was 1, so went over to the right one. Okay, there's 1 point on my line. I could keep going. Negative 2 over 1, negative 2 over 1, negative 2 over 1, negative 2 over 1. Okay, these are all points on my line. Now, if I go to the left, what I have to do is I kind of have to inverse the signs on here. So if I'm going to the left, I'm going to have the 2 be positive and the 1 to be negative. So I'd go 2 to the positive direction, then 1 to the negative direction. Okay, and that is my line right there. Okay, and that's all I got to do. All I got to do to graph it. Okay, and again, if we come down here to 3, it's 4 over 3 is the slope. Y-intercept is 1. I'd start at 1, and I could go up 4 over 3. But then if I go to the left, I have to invert the signs, which means both of these are going to become negative. So I'd go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then over 3. Okay, and that's the line there. Okay, again, you're just plotting it out based on your slope, and you start at your y-intercept. Now, what happens if there's no x-coordinate or there's no y-coordinate? These are your special kind of lines. Okay, so like for number 5, I have y equals 3. Okay, so let's set in there a little bit. Y equals 3. Remember, there's 2 types of special lines when we are graphing. You have your horizontal line, and there's your vertical line. And depending on what it is, will tell you what kind of line it is. So horizontal, you would think that would be like where you don't have a y and it would be x equals. Well, it's actually the opposite, right? That is the y equals some number type of line. The x equals is the vertical one. And the reason for that is what it's saying is that no matter what my x value is, y is always going to equal that number. And the same thing over here. You just got to look at it like it's an equation. X is always going to equal that number. That means that no matter what y is, it's going to always be on that x coordinates, which would make a vertical line. And likewise, that'd be a horizontal line. So if it's y equals 3, that means that no matter what my x coordinate is, y is always going to be 3. So if y is always going to be 3, no matter what my x coordinate is, you'll see each point is just going to form a horizontal line. And you would have a horizontal line right there at 3. Okay? Same if you have x equals 3, no matter what your y is. If x is always 3, no matter what, you get a vertical line. Okay? Vertical line going up and down. And that would be your line for x equals 3. Okay? And that's really all there is to it.